something new. I'm in a different room. This is the room in my house that we call the tavern, my wife's house. My wife shall remain nameless on this venture, as she remains nameless when I work in radio. Years ago, I would mention her name while I was talking on the radio, and she would, I could almost feel her wince through the radio, but it was after the fact that she would say, Sean, would you do me a favor and just stop saying my name? So yes, she's real. She exists. She just doesn't like to be a public persona, whereas I do like to be a public persona on my terms. It's taking me a while. It's going to take me a while to come to grips with being a self-published author, and I am intending to. I very much intend to publish my novel, which is called "The Apocryphal Life of Ian Gafney," within the next year or so, as soon as possible. It's a novel I completed. I've been working on editing, but I realize I need an outside set of eyes to edit this, and I don't have a lot of money to do it, and I'm not willing to spend a lot of money because I can't justify that to my wife or to myself at this point, living in a house that needs so much attention and care. So I'll find a way to get some outside eyes on the apocryphal life of Ian Gafney and get that taken care of and get it published in as inexpensive a way as possible that's still a quality self-publishing job, if you know what I mean. I do not like self-publishing as a rule. I've always been hesitant to do it because I see so many amateurish things done, things that are not ready for publication. And again, who's to judge? The person who publishes the work, obviously. But I also realize as I get older, and I'm 64 years old now, I realize as I get older that I don't do a really good job selling my own work. It's time for me to just put it out there and hopefully make a buck here or there, but not expect to get rich on anything. But the more I put out there, the more I may generate interest, or I may learn that, okay, well, the dream kind of fades here with a very small audience of people who are semi interested in what I'm doing. The Apocryphal Life of Ian Gafney. Let me tell you a little bit about the Apocryphal Life of Ian Gafney. This project is really about my first novel in progress that I've been working on off and on for 40 years, called The History of Strange. The Apocryphal Life of Ian Gafney is a novel I wrote pretty much in 2017, 2018, in that ballpark. I had the genesis of the idea probably 2016, and then I worked it out, wrote most of it when I moved back to California. The story is about Ian Gafney. It's told in three parts. The first part is told in first person, close, past tense. The second part is first person, close, present tense. And the third part, a much shorter part, is second person, close. And I think there's obvious reasons why. The members of my writers group who I shared this with, some did not care for that at all, and I never really tried to explain it. But the three parts go like this. Past tense is telling the story of Ian Gafney's life from his first bits of consciousness, the things that matter, until an event that mirrors the event that opens the novel. And the novel opens with this 6-year-old boy, after a short prologue that I've added since. But it opens with a 6-year-old boy watching a man on a corner fall up into the sky. So he doesn't fly, he doesn't, stumble. He falls up, he turns and he smiles and he falls up and he freaks out Ian Gafney. Of course, nobody believes him. His mother is kind of dismissive. His mother's an addict. She's addicted to prescription pills that opens outside of a pharmacy where she was inside trying to get a pharmacist she didn't know to do things for her that pharmacists she did know had stopped doing for her a while ago, that is, filling her prescriptions. So it tells the story of that incident, Ian's life, until the point where many years later, he and his mother together witness a man fall up into the sky. again, a similar circumstance in the same location. Really kind of unbeknownst to Ian that he's in the same location, or he figures it out, I think. It's been a while since I read my own novel, that part of it. The second part is the aftermath of Ian coping with that man falling into the sky. When the man falls into the sky the second time, he brings someone with him. I won't get too deep into it. It's a theatrical production. He's doing a production of Sweeney Todd that he has no right to be doing. He's playing Sweeney Todd. He has no right to be playing that part, the man who falls into the sky. And he drags a stagehand up with him, and he drops the stagehand down, who plummets to earth, and Ian Gafney rescues him from the waters of the Ashwellet River. He wakes up in a hospital. Thus begins part two, first person present tense, which, if I remember correctly, it covers the span of maybe a week. And a large portion of that week is not even covered. It's just the fact that we go from Valentine's Day, when he watches this man fall up into the sky, to a couple of days later when Ian wakes up, and then for the following days, as he comes to grips with what he saw, and actually figures out what the whole deal is with the man who falls up into the sky, yada, yada, yada. When I get to the third part, it is after Ian has lost his mother, who also is carried up into the sky by the man who falls up into the sky. The third part is told in that second person because we lose Ian in the end. That's it. It's spoiler alert, but you're a long way from reading that novel. That's the reason that I told it in the different voices, because I wanted to, number one, but I like the idea of close first person telling the story of his life, where he kind of questions his own grasp on reality because of what he saw when he was a little kid, and then everything kind of explodes. First person, where he very intensely questions his own sanity, and then second person because everything's kind of hit a nice resolve for Ian. He's getting his shit together, and it's you who have to deal with it now. You have to deal with being Ian and seeing what Ian saw, and then coping with the results of that. I hope to get that novel, again, as I said, published. I will self-publish. I'd like to, I would like to create a publishing company to self-publish that, because I just don't want, again, self-publishing irks me. I don't want a book that says, Sean McElhenney on the spine, The Apocryphal Life of Ian Gafney, and then on the bottom, Sean McElhenney. I want a publishing company, be it my publishing company, but maybe a publishing company where I publish perhaps later The History of Strange, perhaps later a collection of my short stories, or I may squeeze out those short stories a piecemeal on Kindle, because I can make a little bit of money that way. It'd be nice to make a little bit of money. This truly is not the purpose of the venture. The purpose is to stop fantasizing about making the money and start sharing my work, start getting it out there, realizing that I don't have the oomph and the guts and the wherewithal. That might not even be the right word, but to push my own work, to try to sell it to agents and to publishers. I say this about that, and I've said this before. I recorded so many videos before that I deleted as I was making the video prior to this one, the introduction to my war with words. That I've made so many videos that I've forgotten things that I've said, and now I've entirely forgotten where I was on that. I think it's a good time for me to stop. This is my war with words. You'll find me right here on YouTube, on Instagram and TikTok. I'll be sharing my literary quotes of the day, which are just kind of quick hits to give you some things to think about as a writer. First and foremost, as a reader, things that have grabbed me through the years that I can share back. I intend to do this regularly for the first a couple of weeks at least, where I'm doing it every day, Monday through Friday, and then kind of cut back to 3 days a week. And I thought when I started to plan for this, I've got a ton of literary quotes that I can share. And then I started looking for things, and I well, I've got all the stuff that I've highlighted on my Kindle. I'll dig through the books that I have marked up. I know I used to have a little notebook where I kept track of these things, of writing some quotes down from back in the 90s, and I lost it. I can't find it. It's in one of my boxes in the shit show, the fire hazard that is my office that you've seen on other videos. Again, I'm here in the tavern in the downstairs of my house here in Swansea, New Hampshire. Eventually, I'll get outside. I'll do a little walking around out there as well as I share these videos with you. Thanks for your sweetly feigned attention. We'll talk soon.